morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Living the Amazing Life podcast. I'm yours truly, Coach Tim Harrell, your motivational leadership expert, as well as your business accelerator. And I have a special guest on the podcast today, my good friend, Isaiah Washington. Come on, give it up for him. Come on, give it up for him. Wow. It's good to have you on the podcast today. Thank you for joining me. And definitely want you guys to share. And all of our newcomers, we want you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get the updates when we load up new content. So I have Isaiah Washington here today with us. You know, man, it's the last time I saw you, man, you were a little kid. You had to be, oh my God, how old are you now?
I'm 21 now, so that was probably 15 years ago.
That's probably a little bit, maybe 18 years ago.
18? Wow.
18 years ago. So you were like, you were definitely like 4 or 5 years old when the last time I saw you. And then when you came to the church with your mom, I was like, my God, you still got your features, but you got hair on your face now.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah. So you and I have had several conversations, and very interesting conversations, because you have a total different view on life and a view on politics and religion.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have you on the podcast because, of course, the name of the podcast is Living the Amazing Life. So my Living the Amazing Life may be totally different from your Living the Amazing Life. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring you on. So for those who are just joining us for the first time, the Living the Amazing Life, from my perspective, is that it's not what you drive, where you live, how much money you have in the bank, but is being able to add value to people's lives, is being able to help others succeed in life. And that is living the amazing life for me. And so if I was to ask you the question, what is living the amazing life for you?
I don't think, in terms of living the amazing life and what you just said, I don't think we differ all too much. I think that our process to how we get there is different, into helping people succeed and helping people get to where they want to go. So if I would say, me personally, living the amazing life would be, having a community of people that all, not believe the same thing, but we're all fighting for the same thing, which is the liberation for our people. Okay.
And so you said, when you say not believe the same thing, what do you mean by that?
You don't have to be specifically a Christian. That's what I mean. I feel like there are people who are Muslim, who are the other, Catholic, whatever. I feel like we all there are a lot of people between those religions that all want liberation for our people and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by that. Okay. All right. So we talked about politics, religion, just life, employment. You and I had for the 2 conversations, we talked about a lot in those 2 little conversations we had. So what is your view on religion? What is your view on a perspective of church and organized church and all that good stuff? When I was younger, I grew how do you say an anger kind of for church, because I felt like not everything I wanted to be discussed was being discussed. But at the same time, right now I realize the value in having a church and having somewhere where people are organized and they can go, and people recognize church as somewhere that they can is outside of work or home or something like that. So I recognize the value. And historically, people like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, they all recognize the value of having a church and knowing that you can go somewhere, what I mean, have somewhere to organize and talk to people and stuff like that. So I recognize the value in it. I just feel like we talk a little bit too much about individual things and not, the community as a whole. Right.
So it's obvious that you're a community oriented type thinker. You definitely want to specifically help the African American community is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I knew that. In what ways do you want to help the community? What ways? Or let me back up. Do you have a vision to help the community?
Yes. So first things first, I think we have to stop separating ourselves from the people of Africa.
Okay.
I think that we came from that continent, and now what the white man called us was, something totally different that, wasn't what it's supposed to be. But right now, our ethnicity, as you would say, would be
Right.
new Africans.
Right.
We are the new African people that came over to this land, not by choice,
Right.
but we have to do something with that. We can't just, call ourselves what they called us. We
Right.
have to kind of like change that and like identify ourselves as, African people. So that way we can all come together.
Right. Right. Okay. I definitely get with that. I definitely get with that because, here, even at Rebirth Church, we believe in empowering our community. We believe in empowering our young kids, especially that are in the inner city, living in housing project areas. We want to be able to not just give them the gospel, but we want to give them empowerment where they can not, because even, and I don't want to get political. And we got an election coming up.
Yes.
Or maybe by this time, by this time that this podcast is viewed, the election will be the next day.
Okay.
And so, I look at both political parties, and I don't claim to be one of them. But I do believe that for a long time that we as Black people because America was built upon the backs of Black people. People have gotten rich because of Black people. And it seems like that we get the short hand of the stick,
Yes.
The short end of the stick, not short hand of the stick, short end of the stick. But the thing I don't like about us sometime as a people is we're looking for a handout. We're looking for a handout. I believe that we should make our own way. We should make things happen for us. And I think that because we get the handouts, we're being crippled as a people. And that's why a political party can say, well, we're going to give y'all this and we'll give y'all that, and we'll rally around that. But at the end of the day, we end up getting the short end of the stick. So I know you involved in politics and you stay abreast with that. What is your take on all of that?
On the party and stuff like that. When it comes to both parties, I'm just not a fan. I'll never be a fan simply because I don't think that they live the everyday lives of the people. They're all millionaires.
Right.
They all have money. They all, are living life on easy mode. So
right.
When you try to tell them something that you're experiencing, it's like, I don't care. I'm making money, so I don't really care about what you got going on.
Only when it's election time, they appear to care.
Yeah, but like during the last 4 years, what did you hear about? Either a wall or free healthcare or anything that can help people. Like, what did you hear about that until a couple months ago?
Right.
So
right.
It's like it's obviously. I agree with you there that I think the new African people, as I'm calling them, should believe in being their own liberators and saving themselves instead of waiting for somebody to come save them. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think, and that's always been my philosophy. I don't look for anybody to you. Of course, we all need people. We need each other to help each other. But if you don't help me, I'm not going to sit back and just wallow in pity and feel sorry for myself. I'm going to get up, brush myself off, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to use my creative mind that I believe God has given me to create. I believe that I'm a producer, so I should be able to produce something. Mm-hmm. I should be able to produce something that changes my situation or changes my financial condition. Mm-hmm. And what people don't understand, sometimes the new Africans don't understand, is that you have the ability and the power within yourself to change your situation, to change your condition. And you can't blame it on the white man anymore. You really can't. Even though there has been some injustice, but I don't use that as an excuse. Okay, yes, I see that, and I know that has happened, but that shouldn't stop me from producing or being creative and creating something for me and my family. So you may not see me out on the streets protesting. I ain't got time to protest. I got stuff. I want to make money. I'm going to produce, And yes, we need to have our voices heard. But if you're not bringing any money to the table, they ain't gonna listen to you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we still live in a world where money rules everything. So
Yes.
it's like we have to get to a point where we can build our own infrastructure to where we don't have to rely on them anymore.
Right.
We don't have to wait for them to like come give us this, come give us that. Like for example, people are waiting on like Kamala just had a thing where she said if she gets elected president, she's gonna do something for Black men where she gives them like $1 million for Black businesses and stuff like that, and then other things that
Right.
particularly set up the Black man. But it's just like, is Kamala even gonna get elected? Like
Right.
we don't know for sure if she's even gonna get in office, and then when she does get in office, like we have to like wait on her to like pass it through Senate, and she has to pass it. So it's like if we just, as a community, instead of just voting, which I believe in voting. I'm cool with voting, but it also is like, as a community, we have to do more for each other. We can't just be individual and worry about just ourselves. We have to like put our money together,
Right.
and then create infrastructure in like the community and stuff like that, so that way people don't have to worrying about getting to.
Well, why is it so
stuff.
difficult for Black people? You see some of the racial groups, and they're able to work together, come together, live together.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so difficult for the new Africans?
I think that's a question about just the history. Like for example, in 2021, the United States in New York, it was a trial and everything. They went through the history. They were like, United States, you are guilty of genocide to the new African people.
Okay.
They said that you're guilty of genocide, but then it's like, okay, who's gonna hold them accountable for that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's the United States.
Right.
They have the military. They have they have the money. They have the technology. It's like, okay, they can be guilty of a crime, but it's like if they're not held accountable of that crime, what's the point?
Right.
So it's like we have to hold them accountable, and we also have to hold ourselves accountable to build community and do stuff.
And I
like
think
that.
that's where we've fallen short. We'll raise the issue. We'll raise the issue. Yeah, hey, you guys have done this. You guys have done injustice to us. Blah blah blah. But of course, nothing happens after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we have to just take the bull with our own hands by the horns and really make something happen for ourselves. In the world we live in now, with some of the people who have went before us and died and given their life for civil rights and different things like that, they have opened up opportunities for us that we don't really take advantage of as the new African people. Mm-hmm. We don't, because we're still looking for someone to give us a handout. We don't really want to work for it. We don't want to, and we're the most creative people. We're the most, whenever we we get into a sport, we dominate because, and we take it to the next level, and that should let us know what type of people we are, how creative we can be, and why don't we have more Black billionaires? Why don't we have more? I'm quite sure there's some out there, but they don't get depressed like some people get depressed, and so so we have to really hold ourselves accountable and make things happen for us. You are a gift to the earth. You are a gift to the earth. And when you begin to think that way, when you change your mindset and begin to think that I'm a gift to the earth, right? The people are blessed because of me. People are better off because of me. When you begin to think that way, it shifts your perspectives, your decisions, things that you go after. It shifts that. Because now you're not, and I'm not saying that you're thinking that you're better than everybody. No, you're thinking that, your thinking is I'm a gift to the earth, so I have something to offer. And most of us, we don't pursue our dreams, we don't pursue our goals, we don't go after what we desire, is because we believe that we don't have anything to offer. I'm here to tell you, you have something to offer. And God he put it in you. You just got to find that, and it's all wrapped up in your original you. And once you find that and take an assessment of that, you'll know what you can offer. You'll know the gift that you have. You'll know your purpose and what you can do to make someone else's life better. Bruce Lee said, self-knowledge involves relationship. To know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. Relationship is a process of self-evaluation or self-revelation. Relationship is the mirror in which you discover yourself. To be is to be related.
I think also, like, in terms of, like, people are scared. They feel like they have no power. But it's like, when you look at history, I mean, even look at today, there's like things going all across the world where people are fighting back against America and fighting back against the United States. And, you know, they really like believe in themselves, you know? So it's like, we just have to transfer that over here. We're in the belly of the beast.
Right.
This is the Roman Empire that we're living in right now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's like, we have to, if we change the Roman Empire from the inside, the rest is going to fall down, you know? So it's just, that's all we got to focus on.
Yeah. I know that you're 21 years. What does your future look like? As a Gen Z, what do you think the future look like for you?
For me personally, or just like me looking at, what do you?
Just personally, or just from a societal standpoint?
Hopefully I can, like, cause really one of my dream goals is starting an organization to where I can like decolonize the youth. And what do I mean by like decolonize is like, unfortunately, white people have done like a lot of damage to our history. They've done a lot of, you know, problems, you know. So I want people to like empower themselves through learning history and through learning, like, listen, if they did it before us, we can do it too. Right. You know, it's not like a thing to where we're so weak to where, you know, they're more powerful than us. That's kind of like a thing. That's a game that they played on us, that they made us believe that they're more powerful than us, but they bleed the same blood that I bleed. Right. So it's like, we have to get that in order. I really want to start a org so that way I can like start that, and then, you know, yeah.
What caused you, or what brought you to this type of conscious thinking?
Yeah. So I used to be when I was younger in high school, unfortunately I fell to like the alt-right pipeline, and I was kind of like not racist, but like edgy, and you know what I mean? Like that's what I really believed. But then, you know, 2020 happened with COVID, and you had George Floyd protests. And I always like believed stuff, like I always believed in racism. I was never like a person that was like, okay, racism isn't real. But once I was explained like, okay, see this through a black lens, and it's the same for also other oppressed peoples. And then once I got to understand it through that, and then I started learning about, you know, certain revolutionary leaders like Angela Davis. I started reading up on her. I started reading up on Jalil Muntaqim. He's a great leader. He has a book out called We Are Our Own Liberators. He has a book out called We Are Our Own Liberators. I would really recommend you read that if you need something to read. But yeah, so he has a great book out. So yeah, I just really like dived into the history of our people, and then I just really became more and more like, we need to, you know, diverge and divest from whatever America got going on, because obviously that's not working for us. So we need to, you know, go and do something else. So yeah, that's really how I got here, man.
You said something earlier about the environment, you know, and I do. I'm a strong believer that our environments has a lot to do with, you know, when people say, you know, I'm a product of my environment, that's true. Yeah. That's true, you know. Yeah. Now, can I change that? Yes. You know, do I have to receive that and embrace that? No. Even though I may have turned out this way, if I was to come and say, hey, you don't have to be like that, you can be better, then it's up to you to believe that. It's up to you to believe that and embrace that. And I believe that the way you become better is, first you got to believe that you can. And if you don't believe that you can't be better, then you'll never be better. And so I believe as a man of God, as a husband, a father, a grandfather, I believe that anything that I do, I can do it to the best of my ability. And there's nothing that I can't do if I put my mind to it. What's the difference between me and Elon Musk? There's no difference to me. Well, I will say this. Now, I would say, okay, there is a difference. I'll put it that way. Okay, there's a difference. He got more money than I got.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But I would say the difference is how Elon Musk spent his 24 hours. So I spent my 24 hours, partying, hanging, drinking, clubbing. He may have spent his 24 hours researching, studying, and developing his mind. Being in an environment would challenge him to grow and become smarter. And I may have been in an environment that didn't challenge him in that area. So yes, and of course I could have had, I probably had some injustice and some disadvantages, right? But it's still, because there's been men and women who came before us who even had that, but they still persevered. They still made it in the history books. Mm-hmm. So it can be done. It can be done. And maybe, and maybe Elon Musk, he didn't have as many obstacles as that person did, but they still made it to the history books. And I think that even makes them better because of the different challenges they had, and they were able to still, be known in history. Mm-hmm. And that's why I believe that Black people or the new Africans, that's why when we put our hands to something, when we put our minds to something, man, we take it to the next level. Mm-hmm. We take it to the nth degree, and of course, maybe there are people groups who don't want to see us do that. And that's why they put those obstacles in our way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. One other thing that I wanted to mention, you talked about how we have some sellouts in the mm-hmm. Black community, unfortunately. I saw Kamala Harris, she had like a rally, I think it was like a month ago or something like that, and mm-hmm. Meg Thee Stallion showed up. And
now I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Meg Thee Stallion is?
No.
Okay, awesome. I get to explain to you. Okay,
mm-hmm.
So Meg Thee Stallion, she's a rapper from Houston. She first became popular, I think, in like 2018, 2019. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, she's just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So currently she's a star, superstar type, rapper and stuff like that. So it's like, people are fans of Meg Thee Stallion because of her music, mm-hmm. And also because of other things.
Right.
Yeah, but people are fans of Meg Thee Stallion. But I think that the inclusion of Meg Thee Stallion at a Kamala Harris rally where we're trying to get things better for people, and we're trying to focus on politics and how we can focus on things getting better. Instead, what Kamala Harris did was have Meg Thee Stallion, dance party, you know what I mean? It's like they're kind of showing you what they think about you by the way that they, advertise to you. If they thought we were smart, they would, put out, a psychologist out there, or somebody that has scholarly values and scholarly,
instead
mindset.
Of the entertainment.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the entertainment, I'm gonna give you my vote just because Meg Thee Stallion is up there. You mess with Meg Thee Stallion, I'm gonna vote for you. But it's no, we have to have a higher standard than
That's
that.
Good.
We have
That's
to have
really
a higher
good.
standard, because
That's
if we
really
don't
good.
have the higher standard, they're gonna continue to treat us how they treat us. Mm-hmm. And it's the reason why I'm saying this is because my standard is so high because I believe in y'all so much.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
mm-hmm.
it's yeah.
Yeah. That is good. That is good. And that's a good perspective. I didn't see that particular rally. I try to stay on top of that because I think that, as a leader, that I need to know what's happening in our world.
Yeah, of course.
And if I'm leading people. So I didn't see that one. But that makes sense, man. Mm-hmm. That really makes sense.
Especially because Jesus fought against oppression himself.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he calls Christians to fight against, oppression mm-hmm. in the army of the Lord and stuff like that. When we put on the armor of God, it's not just mm-hmm. for funsies.
Right.
It's to fight against oppression and fight for the people that can't have their voices heard. So it's I'm trying to put it in a religious perspective so that people can understand it. Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. We put on the whole armor of God. We fight against the depression or oppression of sin and being defeated in our minds and things like that. So I get it, man. This has been great.
Mm-hmm.
This has been great. And wow, we're about out of time. We're out of time. But I definitely want to have you back mm-hmm. on the podcast. And if people if people have been impressed what they heard from you, and you have a podcast. So how would they get in contact, or how would they connect with you on your podcast?
So I don't really do the podcasting anymore, but I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Zay Reviews. I review any like pop culture or media stuff like that. And then I have a TikTok called Isaiah's Interlude, where I talk about, stuff up there that I believe in, mostly politics and stuff like that. But, yeah, right. I talk.
Right. And see, I love stuff like that. I love stuff like, I know, me as a leader, I know how to keep that in perspective, and I know when to discuss things like that. So, for example, you would never hear me discuss politics from the pulpit, and I would never invite a politician to our church.
Correct.
Because this is not a place for that. But I, of course, I love talking politics, and I love talking, sharing my views on the different two parties and different things like that, and the policies that they're putting out there and things like that. So, but we're gonna have you back, man. We're gonna have you back. Y'all give it up for Isaiah Washington. Yes.
Let's go.
Thank you for joining us today. And again, guys, make sure you join us every Monday right here on the same channel at this same time. Every Monday we drop a new podcast every Monday. So we're done for today. We're out of time, guys. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hate to end it, and I know y'all hate for me to end it, but go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification button. Make sure you share the podcast with a loved one, family member, coworker. I know they would love to hear what this great young man has to say, his thoughts and his opinion and his beliefs. And so until we see y'all on next week, y'all know what time it is. Live your amazing life. God bless you. I came from being a janitor to owning my own multi-million-dollar janitorial company. And I became a very successful entrepreneur, creating wealth for me and my family to live the amazing life. I want to show you how. Meet me here every week for the Living the Amazing Life podcast, where I will show you how I help others like yourself stop working in the business and working on the business. It's time for you to live your amazing life.